Hello, dear listeners. I just want to address few insights, few points with you. It's been 3 months. It's been like forever. This whole thing with Ephraim passing, etc., etc. And at this point, I much often feel like some memories come up. Good memories, good quality time comes up, and I cherish that kind of thoughts as they come and go. I don't hold on to them. I don't try to like stop everything and freeze myself and just be with those memories and thoughts. But some jokes, some ideas, even some words that were like in our relationship between only us or just in a family. And it's amazing to see how how things get settled down, like it was a shock, it was a kind of a tragedy, it was a feeling of unbelievable kind of soreness and like feeling not at peace, feeling like something's off, something is really tearing you apart inside. But when you tune in and you connect to his wellness, and like I sometimes say to my older kids, when I try to tune into Ephraim, all I feel like this absolutely subtle energy, like it's the world that he's in. Yeah, it's different frequencies, absolutely different frequencies. It's like listening to a butterfly fly next to you when you don't usually pick up any sounds or any, it's like you just know it's there. Yeah, so it's a very subtle kind of presence. That's what I pick up. And when I tune in, it's very direct, like you're right away there. You can't miss it. You can't mistake it. It's right away there. And whenever I call out and whenever I ask for his involvement and his presence, I right away feel that sensation. That's like different frequency vibrations. And it comes. It's right away there. It's an amazing thing. There's different simonim, different signs that I pick up here and there. And I also feel on our son that he feels his presence, like he feels his connection, he feels Papa is here, and I think he actually maybe even sees him. In some sources it says kids see different kind of expressions than us. We are like more involved in this world, more checked in this world. They're still adapting, they're still adjusting to this world. And I think that missing part does not exist because he actually has him on whatever level he has. So that's that. I just wanted to maybe share with you interesting realizations. Like a lot of people reach out and a lot of people say, oh, you've been through a lot, and it's amazing how people like process. Some remember the passing of their grandparents around them, and they've seen how their parents were involved and how difficult it was for them. And some remember that time when they lost somebody who was dear and loved to them, and like how they processed that time, what came out of it. So they share with me a lot of that. But it's just amazing how, like, if you focus on bad, so to speak, you could really get exhausted. But when you see a lesson, a certain stepping into something larger, kind of, it is overwhelming. It is a known zone. It is not familiar, but you're stepping into something that you discovering yourself in new. And it's not necessarily tragic and sad and upsetting and depressing. It's just new. we are wired in such a way, we define something good, whatever we're familiar with and whatever we accustomed with dealing, and we define something bad, which is not familiar, not known, new, kind of, we are new in it new in us, and you might like get overwhelmed and start defining it as sadness and madness and all this stuff, but really it's just a new experience. It is a new experience for me to lose a husband. It is a new experience for me to lose a parent of one of my child. It is a new experience for me to be alone raising a little kid, you know. Even if you're divorced, you still have a partner somewhere in this world, but it is a new experience for me. But obviously my soul wanted to go through that experience for whatever reason. I wanted to discover myself in that form. And it's not about sadness, it's about new experience. And it's interesting that like I share with my friends like what's been happening in my life since 3 months ago. Like I was so consumed with just taking care of Ephraim, being there for him, just coping on my own with whatever was showing up for me. But since then, a lot of other things also showed up, and they are not necessarily the most like cherishing, loving kind of blessings, you know. Like my dad had a stroke. I had to fly to Toronto and be there for him and like show up in the hospital and again deal with doctors and all those equipments right next to my dad right before the surgery started to remind me about like everything I went through with Ephraim. All little pieces in the hospital like triggered me so much and like brought up so much in me. And yet I had to show up. It's my dad, and he's alone, and he lives in a different country, different city by himself, and he's not young, and he's extremely dear to me. So, you know, to say that I'm here processing my own loss, like it was not an option. So going there, kind of by force being put again into the whole medical scene, I think I needed to heal myself through that, you know. Like one thing when you go to a therapist and you kind of start discussing about ideas and concepts, but when you are like put right in the middle of the whole thing again, and all this discussions with doctors and waiting to speak to a doctor after the surgery, and being like so uncomfortable during the surgery when your loved ones are going through the surgery, etc., etc. It just like takes so much of your energy. And I understood the reason why I brought there, because my request was to heal, completely heal. And obviously I cannot heal only through a mental kind of process. I needed to be at the scene after I took a 3 months break and just like pack it all, kind of crack it all open, yeah, let it all out and just see my reaction, see where I'm still hurting and still feeling hurt, etc., etc. And then there was another kind of episode which I'm going through right now. A very dear friend is going through similar things that Ephraim went through. And that's another kind of letting go, yeah. At the back of our mind, we understand it's a matter of months, it's a matter of weeks, it's a matter of maximum half a year maybe. But the other parts of us are still looking for this clinic, that clinic. Just yesterday I was speaking to one clinic here in Florida, which I actually was always thinking about while we were searching for Ephraim, different methods. And they basically said, you know, there's like a whole differences between alternative method of healing cancer or some severe disease or like a traditional method, yeah. And obviously they're constantly in conflict. This method is always offering just chemo, radiation, and surgery, and the other method is only boosting your immune system, uplifting, and the body knows what it needs to do. It needs to fight, and it will fight, and la la la, and all the natural things, and best herbs, and best IVs, and best kind of different innovative some treatments, etc., etc. But this particular doctor, he actually combines both, and that's I remember myself saying, like, to Ephraim a lot with the chemo. I kept on saying, like, it's understood, like, that huge amount of chemo that they injected when he at first decided to go with chemo. I said, maybe there is a place where you could take, like, a little bit, just a little bit at a time. And we even went with him to another oncologist that apparently was recommended that he does a smaller portion of chemo. But even with him, he's like, there is no point of doing smaller portions. I could do a little bit lighter version, but it's not necessarily a smaller portions, and all that ideas. And of course, Ephraim just didn't go with that, and he had a big belief in the alternative system. But this particular doctor basically said that what they do is they take a little bit of blood of a person, and in each blood cell there is an information about if there is a cancer. And what they do, they are able, in that laboratory, they're able to separate the cancerous kind of part of the blood cell and healthy, and they take the cancerous part of the blood cell and they run through it different applications of different methods of healing. And then the laboratory gives them like a full protocol of how to go about healing that particular person. And he said, believe it or not, one of the things, not in the beginning, but maybe towards the middle of the treatments, that the protocol, it's, I don't know, AI generated, I don't know how it works, but the whole laboratory is based on that it comes up with a perfect solution for this particular patient. And in the middle of the treatment, it does offer a smaller version of radiation and chemo. And I remember that was my initial wish to find this place for Ephraim. And of course, I right away started, when I was searching for a friend and communicating with them, like with all those information, I right away started thinking, like, oh, how come we didn't hear of that? And right away this like guilt and the feeling of like regret that we didn't search enough, well enough, we didn't put ourselves out there to get to this information. And then getting deeper and deeper into this whole thing, I started like finding out, looking into different pieces of information about this clinic. I found out that they don't guarantee, there is no guarantee, maybe like 70%, which is good enough, I guess, for some, but there's no 100% guarantee that last stage of cancer could be absolutely cleared and cleaned. But I think, like in my case, going through one kind of like a traumatizing story after another, and you kind of go into it again and again and again and again, there is some wisdom and some blessing in it that I see. I feel like at first when I was dealing with Ephraim, I was very overwhelmed and very kind of on the call, so to speak, on the run. There was no integration, there was no like self-process. Certain attachments, certain clinginess, certain dependency, certain inability to kind of face this world for what it is. It was just kind of on autopilot, like go, 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 do, try to do your best, do all those kind of noisy stuff, like this juice, that treatment, in 5 minutes another one, get this red light machine, you know, another ointment, another cream, and like run there, order this, try to apply that, oh this doesn't work, check in with the doctor. Like it was like a lot of noise happening, but there was no personal kind of process at that time. And I think, like I noticed, it's basically very close people, and they're all in a very different situations, and they all meant different things to me. But it's me that needs to finally check in and understand, what is it that I'm going through? What is it that I'm suffering about? Letting go, feeling sorry for myself, feeling sorry for them, not wanting to be in a similar situation again, avoiding, right? Like what is it truly that I'm actually trying to run away from? And it always brings me back, because I noticed long time ago that whatever I go through, and if I don't go through certain things in a right fashion, I will definitely be brought back there in order to do it the best I can. And it could take like in circles. I could go there again and again until I like, wait a minute, let me just sit down and just ask myself a question. What is this about for me? What is it that I need to take home with? And obviously, like one of the main things that helped me after meditation to realize was that a true relationship that we have in this world is only with God. Everything else is a search for God in this world. It kind of shines through one element of that connection, but it's not it. And when we get like super connected, super involved, super clingy into a certain relationship, and we forget that our only relationship that will always stay with us and will never be taken away from us, and that was there before even this reincarnation and this realization of who I am and how I identify myself and what am I about, it's only me and God. And all those things that I thought was like, so to speak, important and relevant and played certain like a major role in my life, even when I have them, I have to learn to be there and not be there at the same time, not be super involved, right? To always understand this relationship for sure be temporary. There is no question about it. It will be taken away. It's just for now. It's here for now. There is a relationship that is there forever, and I fall, I lean, I rely only on those relationships. Those are the ones in front of me that are playing out now or were just playing there before. They're temporary, and that doesn't mean they are not important. They are very important. It's just important to remember that they are temporary, and it's not because you'll be punished. It's because that's how this world is set up. This world is set up that you get certain lesson through, you get certain maturity through, and then you graduate this relationship and you move on. Whether you move out from this life or you still stay in this life, and people change, but all the relationships that we are in are temporary, and it's important to always remember and be grateful for those relationships that we have and that are still playing out something for us. And when they actually hinting to us that they are about to leave or about to be broken or about to be taken, we fall back on our true and constant connection with God. We kind of lean on that, and we are with grace and gratitude and love. We say thank you and we'll let go, because if we don't let go, we start hurting either ourselves or those that's supposed to leave, whether they have to leave into another world or into their other chapter of life. But it's important to end right. You know, like your relationship with someone, it could be a close friend that was there for you for a number of years, and you feel it's gone or it's about to be gone. Thank goodness everyone's staying alive, but you feel it's just energy is not there anymore. You say, I forgot. If you start feeling hurtful or depressed or something, you just go back inside, sit in meditation and just say, I forgot there is only one real relationship that stays forever with me, is me and God, and everything else supposed to come and go, and it will come and go, and I'm grateful that it comes and goes, because otherwise I would not mature, I would not develop, I would not graduate and move on. And I'm so thankful for what this relationship gave me, and if it's time for it to go, I'm ready to let go. And with a lot of grace and acceptance and surrender and love, you let go, really on an emotional level. It's not a mental letting go, but it's an emotional and kind of even physical in a way, letting go. And that's a certain maturity that I understood the situation that like brings me back again and again, helps me process in such a fashion. Thank you for listening. Hope this helps. Please write your questions if you have any about what I just discussed, or your ideas or your realizations. I would love to hear them. Thank you.